Hey people,
Hello there.
what's going on, familia?
Get this thing in here. Y'all better
Why
get
should
on while
always turn off the
y'all better get it in while it's on. Cause I don't know if we're gonna stay all night tonight. You understand what I'm saying? We are literally picking up from where we left off on the last session to make it last for what it takes to make it last forever. We had 4 points, and we're probably going to pick up on point 4. Who goes there? Let us know who you are so we can say hello to you and formally give you a nice greeting. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, let's get this thing in. I'm going to slide this down because I don't want to be forced to dislike anyone. And sometimes
Certainly not.
people just will do what they do and not consider the fallout behind it.
You got that right.
There go Elder Sis. What's up?
Family, sis, hi.
Good to see you on tonight,
I
sis.
miss your face.
Listen, we miss you, lady, woman of God. So we are certainly going to get into this conversation. Again, if you are on, can you please let yourself be known so we can formally greet you? You understand what I'm saying? The question on the floor is, before we get going, before we start any of this, how are you doing? That's the question. How are you doing? Thank you, sis. We are glad
Thank
to
you.
be back. Much needed R&R. If you don't know what that means, rest and relaxation. Understand?
Right.
But we are well. The question on the floor to you, young lady, how are you doing? Huh?
I am doing great. Today, y'all know I love Mondays because I get to work from home every Monday and Friday. So coming off of vacation, that's always good to kind of just ease in. I had some meetings today, so it was still work, but it's just something about being able to work in your PJs. Business on the top, PJs on the bottom. They never know. You just, you
Absolutely.
just do what you got to do.
Got that Joe Dirt effect going on.
Correct.
Business in the front, party in the
back.
back.
Right now,
Absolutely.
I got a party going on all over. As y'all can see, she's just washed and ready to go. But yeah, today was a great day. No complaints at all. I had lunch with one of my mentors. I love her. And just, it was good to catch up and, just check in. You need those check-ins.
No doubt.
That was
No
good
doubt.
for me. And then, what else did I do today?
Oh.
I took a walk. About 30 minutes. I walked this evening. We got some tough news with our family, from my side of our family today. And so I was on the phone with my mom, my sister, just kind of doing all those things. And then, I finally was able to break free for a minute and get a little 30-minute walk in the neighborhood. So I love our neighborhood, by the way. It just reminds me of Mr. Rogers' neighborhood.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It's a great opportunity to walk. So
Sweet.
That was me. How was your day?
How you doing? You already know. You know what I say? I don't have bad days. I have bad moments. And bad moments stay moments. They don't become a lifestyle. You understand what I'm saying?
Be a lifestyle.
They will not be a lifestyle.
Oh, no,
so my day was great. And I too got my little evening stroll in. Went around the neighborhood and walked and talked to the Lord a little bit. And came back home, got ready to do this Marriage Village Monday. You understand what I'm saying? So it was a great day. Again, we have been getting just bad news a lot lately. For those of you who don't know, our niece passed 2 weeks ago. And so that has been sort of weighing heavy on my heart. Then we get the news today about
another family member.
So it's just, God, keep our family in your prayers because we seem to be getting hit from every side right now. But this is what we take heart. This is what we take heart in. we don't grieve as those who have no hope.
Facts.
We grieve as those who do have hope, but we do miss the physical presence of those when we're not around them or when they transition, right? So just keep our families in your prayers because we have had um, at least four transitions.
Mm-hmm.
Cassie's aunt, my aunt and great aunt, niece, and that's it. And we got a situation right now that we're keeping in prayer. Listen, I just believe God, man. I'm just asking God to do, and if you can touch and agree with me, I'm just asking God to do a miracle. That's what I'm asking. That's what I'm standing in faith for. Now, it's his thing. He can do what he wants to do, and if he chooses to do otherwise, it's his choice to make, and we'll be okay with that. But if you could believe with me in faith that healing will be the portion of our dear loved one, and that the family will not have to go through anything traumatic. You understand what I'm saying? So that's what we are. But tonight,
We got the sis says she's doing well.
oh yeah,
feeling
yeah.
refreshed. That's what I'm talking about.
Let's go. Let's get it. Hey,
refresh.
if you are on, we need to
Refresh.
know. We need to know who's there. How are you tonight? The question on the floor is, how are you doing? How was your day? How was the weekend? Did you get it in this weekend? Did you get refreshed like Elder Sis did? Did you get refreshed like we did? Went on vacation last week. Enjoyed our 18th anniversary and Cassie's 24th birthday.
Oh, see, he know I don't care. Y'all know I'm looking like next year
around.
I'm 50. Right. I'm excited. Listen, y'all, he did a thing. I wasn't gonna say anything. I was thinking about posting, then I was like, I don't want people to think I'm bragging. Because y'all know we don't do that. Right? We brag on the goodness of the Lord. If y'all only knew what we have endured through these 18 years, we ain't gonna tell y'all, but shameless plug, you can get some tidbits of that by showing up to any of the Marriage Village gatherings. We have one coming up October 25th and 26th in Sellersburg, Indiana.
Get there, man.
You want to get in the room.
Absolutely.
For that. You want to be in the room. But I was saying he did a thing, so I'm just gonna put it up there real quick and let y'all see the goodness of the Lord. He did a thing for 18, and so I am so grateful for just the testimony of being able to say we have been married for 18 years.
Yeah.
And I say healthily married, healthily, and that's a word I'm making up. And what I mean by that is it's not always happy. There was happy, sad, celebrations, wins. I don't say losses. Y'all know I don't believe in losses because you can learn. Even if you lose, you can learn. So challenges.
Yeah.
But the reason I say healthily is because we definitely seek help, and and we seek to be healthy in marriage. And so I will celebrate gladly these 18 years. Yeah, and it definitely is an upgrade. Sis, we grown now.
Listen, this is the thing,
we
right?
Legal out here.
You got to do this work. If you want it to work, you got to do this work. And none of us can get away from doing this work. That's what we try to convey to you guys every Monday. As much as you may love someone, as much as you may care for them, you still have to put those attributes and put those things in play in order for the relationship to work. So that is what leads us to our wonderful conversation tonight. We are going to pick up talking about the things that it takes to make it last. But before we do that, you thought I was going to forget. You thought I was going to forget you. You thought I was going to forget. You thought I was going to ride into the sunset and say, never mind. But guess what?
Oh, no.
Guess what? It's Monday. It's after 9 o'clock. You see these two marvelous faces sitting in front of you. That can only mean one thing. What does that mean? That means it's Foolish Monday.
And you hit that. He has got a little sinus stuff happening right now. I didn't think he was gonna be able to hit those notes. I was waiting for Frogger.
Ain't no cold gonna stop me. It ain't no cold. It's sinuses. It really is sinuses. I can feel it.
Yeah, we did a COVID test this morning. All clear.
We are all
for those
clear.
that are concerned.
Don't be trying to come for me.
It is clear.
You understand what I'm saying?
Elder sis said you was about to get it. You know.
Oh, I know. Listen, I felt it in the spirit. I did. I said, oh, I gotta sing one for my sis. I gotta let her know what time it is. And it's time for Marysville is Monday.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, now he done dropped it down.
Oh, yes. Listen, we can go from the top all the way down to the bottom and back up to the top. Jasmine, good to see you on tonight. Oh, listen, we know. Congratulations to Jasmine and Mike. They are engaged.
Yes.
Guess
Soon
what?
to be the gardeners.
Absolutely.
Jasmine Gardner.
Guess what? Guess who's
I love it.
Guess who's doing the wedding? Huh?
We are.
Yours truly. These two. Yeah.
So excited
Absolutely.
for that. And guess who is helping coordinate guess who's the wedding coordinator?
Did you appoint yourself the wedding coordinator?
Well, I talked with the bride. The bride to be. We got this.
No, I love it. I love it.
So, because people will bust heads trying to, and I mean, I ain't no knock because if event planning is your business, you should earn money.
But you can do it.
However,
you should have done it years ago. But hey,
who's
talking? Who's talking?
We had other plans.
Okay. Let me see. The Elliots are on tonight. What's up, fam? Good to see y'all on tonight. We love y'all. Hopefully you guys have had a great weekend, and today has been marvelous as well. So let's get into this conversation. So we're gonna run through the first couple of.
Do we have to?
You don't want to go through the first couple? What we talked about last week?
No, we don't need a tee up.
Okay,
we're talking about making it last.
All right, so
go back and watch last time if you need 1 through 3. We on 4 tonight.
All right, so number 4 is and we're talking about the things that it takes to make it last. Number 4 is talk openly about everything, especially the things that hurt. Listen, let me tell you something. There comes a time in a man's life where a man just has to do, as my dad says, what a man has to do. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So you need to openly talk about everything. Don't have any secrets in your relationship, because the secrets in relationship is the devil's playground. That is where the devil will play. Where there are secrets, that's where he will play. And that is where he will cause a ruckus. You understand what I'm saying? So make sure that you're having the conversation. Make sure that you are talking about your feelings and expressing them when you have them, especially if they are near and dear to your heart. What do you have to say about that?
Right. So here's the thing. You need to talk to your person about what's wrong. A lot of times we talk to, and I'm saying we because I've done this, a lot of times where I have erred in the past is talking to people that could not help me. Right? I'm talking to people, and what I mean by they might have had wisdom for a situation, they might have had all great things. But if this person sitting next to me doesn't know that I have an issue, really, I can talk to whoever I want, but it's not going to get addressed if I don't talk to the person I have the issue with. I used to work for a Christian school. My husband currently works there, and they push Matthew 18. If you have an ought against your brother, or if you know that your brother has an ought against you, go to them.
Go take care of
Go to them. He is my husband, but he is also my brother in Christ, because, when we get to glory, it's no husband and wives, right? And so I have a responsibility to tell him what's on my mind, to tell him what's going on with me. Again, I'm not saying don't seek wise counsel, because y'all know how we believe. And I'm not even saying, you may have a trusted person that you want to. Okay, so here's a tip. I'm going to switch over real quick, put on my business hat. They always say when you're angry or frustrated, don't send that email. Like, whatever that first draft is, don't send it. Like that email response if you're irritated or angry with the person. Don't send it. Type it out in a Word document. If you just need to get it out, Just put it in a Word document, but do not put it in something that you can send or even send accidentally, right? So what you want to do is the same thing. You may not be able to communicate. Maybe you're not a great communicator. And so maybe you have a trusted upline or confidant that you can test run what you're getting ready to say, to them. Because here's the thing. It sounds great when we're saying it.
Yeah. Yeah.
But to the hearer,
yeah,
it could sound like something totally different. And so if you're trying to discuss a hard thing, the last thing you want is for somebody to be offended and shut down and completely turn you off. So,
and we started talking about this on the last segment, and how you package what you have to say means everything. How you package it, how you say it, how you articulate it is just as important as what you are saying. Because if you're not packaging it in a way that it can be received, guess what? It won't be received. So number one, you have to make sure that you're packaging the information in a way that it can be received, taken in, and understood. Number two, if it's bothering you, then you need to say something. If we're walking in this relationship together, then one of the reasons why we are together is because there's some form of love and respect towards one another. And when you have love and respect for one another, that should grant you the ability and the access and the ability to have the conversation and say what you need to say. Because guess what? Closed mouths don't get fed. If you're not saying what you need to say to make sure that you're being heard, then you can forget about a person hearing it and or understanding.
Right. And so when you don't talk about hurtful or what I like to call hard things, then a lack of trust is also formed in the relationship, because you're not being honest about what it is you're feeling, what's going on. And really, you're almost living a double life, because you're sharing with other people that you're not happy with these things, but then you're going along in the relationship like all is well and everything's cool. That's just no way to have a healthy relationship. And that's not going to last. It's not going to last.
And there's a song that I love so much. And it goes a little something like this.
Oh, Lord.
It says, say what you need to say.
And if you've been a part of Marriage Village for 1 month, you've heard this already.
Say what you need to say. Say what you need to say.
Heard it.
Say what you need to say. Why do you need to say what you need to say? Because it's better out than in at some point in time. If you're holding it in and you're not releasing it, at some point in time, there is going to be an explosion. And explosions are never good. They're just never good, because they make messes and they tear up stuff. You know what I'm saying? So make sure you're not making messes and you're not tearing up stuff. Make sure that you are actually doing what it takes to appropriately have these conversations so that you can be adequately heard and cared for. Okay.
Right, so wrapping that up, if something is bothering you, hey, Darlene.
What's up, lady?
Darlene? Good to see you. I know you on here for a minute. I got you. So if something is bothering you, say something.
Yes.
The things that are your insecurities, the things you hate to share with people, you need to share that with the person you're in relationship with. If you are in a relationship where there is love and trust and you want that relationship to last, you should be able to share your insecurities and not worry about them being thrown up in your face at a later time. Flag on the play. We'll get to, when we talk about fighting fair, we'll get to that one, but go ahead. No, go ahead. No, go.
Stop preserving yourself. You see what I'm saying? You're trying to preserve yourself. No, you need to say what needs to be said so that we can make progress in the area that you need help with. Because if you're not saying what you need to say and you're not being heard, you're going to feel isolated and you're going to start feeling some kind of way internally. So deal with that. Don't keep secrets. Say what you need to say. Have the conversation, because in releasing the information, healing can actually happen.
Correct. Happy anniversary.
Absolutely.
Holdhauser's 23 years of marriage on September 8th. That's what's up. Happy belated anniversary. And so again, just wrapping that point up, if you make a promise, also stick to it, because it's hurtful when you break promises to that person. And here's the thing, if somebody breaks a promise to you in your relationship, you have the right to call them on the carpet about it.
No doubt.
Right? Because if you don't, again, you're gonna hold it in and you're gonna bust at some point.
No.
All right. So
all right.
Moving on. Number five.
You got it?
A healthy relationship means two healthy individuals.
That's a bar. Absolutely. Two healthy individuals. Woo. What are you doing to make sure that you are a healthy part of this relationship? Are you operating in grace thinking? Are you even considering how the other person feel? Because when you care about what the other person feel, you'll care about how you're taking care of yourself, because taking care of yourself means taking care of them and the relationship.
And that means taking care of yourself, not only mentally, because we got a lot of buzz, or there's a lot of buzz around emotional health, right? And mental health. That is, we need to definitely take care of that. At the same time, we need to take care of our physical bodies, our physical health. I think we've shifted. It feels like there's been a shift away from so much of being healthy physically, and more focus on mental health, which there needs to be a balance. We are, what are a trichotomy? Are we mind, body, and spirit?
Yeah.
And so we need to take care of all those parts.
Absolutely.
If you are, dealing with high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, right? These things are physical things. Even, and I'm not, no shade, ain't throwing nobody on the bus, but like gout, right? I know that I have a diagnosis. Y'all see that diagnosis of rheumatoid arthritis. So there's a lot of inflammation and pain that goes along with that. I've been in pain for the last 2 weeks. I'm gonna just tell y'all my back. But a lot of that probably could be remedied with physical therapy. And what am I eating that's adding to the inflammation, right? And I definitely had a bout with gout a few years ago. I'm not recently, but again, that's something that I'm taking in. And so if I'm not in my best health physically, it's a drain on the relationship when it's things that I can do something about, right?
Well,
I'm not talking about ailments where people have things and you can do nothing about that. I'm talking about the stuff we can do something about.
Well, I think it's important to make sure you know what things work for you, like what foods work, what foods don't work, how eating these certain foods can impact your mental capacity, your ability to think clearly, not have the brain fog, all of that. Mm-hmm. Your eating habits impact about 95 to 96% of that type of stuff. So if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not walking, you're not drinking water, you're not eating appropriately, that is impacting how you think, that's impacting how you see yourself, what you think about yourself, and ultimately it can impact your relationship, because if you have a negative view of yourself, or if you have a problem loving yourself, 9 times out of 10, you're going to have a problem showing up in love for your spouse.
Yeah.
So it's important to make sure that, number one, you're doing the things that it takes to be healthy and to be able to use your thoughts clearly and concisely to make sure that this thing here stays as good as it can be. Because guess what? It's only good as the 2 people in it. If the 2 people in it are no good, then guess what? The relationship is no good. So we have to make sure that we are doing our part to appropriately impact our relationship.
Correct. And so, again, not coming down on people that have ailments or anything like that. I do strongly encourage taking authority over your temple and the things that you have control over. Like if you don't like that you might be a little bit overweight, start walking, 15 minutes a day. Or, if you sit at a desk all day, stand up and walk around, take a lap around the building, and then come back to your seat. Like I know most jobs, the HR person coming in now should allow, if you're working an 8-hour shift, you're supposed to get a 30-minute lunch and 2 15-minute breaks. That's the law. However, I know there are some different situations and schedules, but do the needful to take care of you.
You make time for anything else. Make
Correct.
time for your health. All right. Next one, or moving on.
And we are rolling through these tonight, guys. Just we don't need to belabor it, but remind us to go back to something that we addressed the last time, because we want to just kind of bring some clarity on the love. Saying I love you is not enough.
Okay.
Okay.
Give each other space.
Mhm.
You got to know when to let the relationship breathe.
Mhm.
And I think sometimes that's looked upon negatively. And I'll be honest, I was one of those people who looked upon it negatively, because I just feel like when it comes to those types of things, I believe that if you manage, you only need a break from things that you don't manage well. That's and I still hold true to that. But I do believe that sometimes certain personality types need that for themselves. Um, Whatever it is you need, make sure that you're doing what it takes to get what you need within reason. Don't be out here just taking advantage of the circumstance or the situation. But if you need a break, take one.
Facts. So here's the other thing with that. And it kind of goes in line with what he said. You don't take a break to escape, right? If you are saying, excuse me, I need to escape him, or I need to escape her, get away from her, get away from him, that requires a little bit more investigation
No
as to
doubt.
what's going on in the relationship.
No doubt.
So healthy breaks are things like Joe goes to the gym at 4:45 in the morning. By then he's already there. I go to the gym more toward 5:30. But either way, we go separately. That's a time that we each have for ourselves to kind of get ready for our day, get our focus on. It's not escaping one another. It is literally, this is how I get my day started. This is how he gets his day started. Then there are times where, I may go out to dinner with some ladies. We may go out to have, dinner, or do a ladies outing or whatever. And he may hang out with the fellas, watching a game or something, or going to a
I
game.
don't do that. I don't do that so much. That's just not me. That's
You're going to a Cowboys game in a little bit.
who had
And
to
you went last year
who
too
had to
with
who
Steve.
had to who had to put that in play.
So I don't. Yeah. So
I'm not,
we'll go with you don't do
because
that much. Yes, you're
I'm
right.
not really,
Not
but
much.
I'm not. This is the thing. I'm not wired that way though. When I do go, I do enjoy myself, but I'm not wired that way. Like I can I could stay here and be cool. But you just got to do what works for the relationship. Like 4 o'clock works better right now because I have to be at work at 7. That's why I'm going so early. Would I prefer to do it just a little bit later? Absolutely, because that means I have to be in the bed by 10:30. Because waking up at 4 o'clock is no joke. And my job is very physically demanding, in the sense that I'm moving a lot. I'm going to classrooms. I'm working in classrooms, working on computers in the classrooms. So I have to be alert and aware and able body. You know what I'm saying? I have to be able to shake and move. So I have to do what it takes to get myself prepared for that. But also, I have to do what it takes to be prepared to deal with this relationship. Because sometimes communication can be tough when you're tired, when you're frustrated, when you're irritated, when you haven't been doing the things, and you got to know your signals. You got to know your signs. Okay, if you haven't been to the gym in a while, or a couple days, and you've been getting real snappy, well, it's probably because you haven't been releasing those endorphins in your bodies, and your body needs that workout so that you can get
dopamine.
back.
Let's go.
I said endorphins.
No, it is endorphins, but
Yeah.
dopamine is the chemical that's released.
Yeah, so if you make sure that you're doing those types of things to keep the relationship where it needs to be. Again, with everything half balanced, don't be out here just being willy-nilly and going out there just doing it because you can do it. But make sure that when you're doing it, it's understood what's going on, and that there's appropriate knowledge to why it's happening. Because if you're not having that conversation, there will be a problem at some point in time. Trust me when I say that. So yeah, you want to make sure that you are um, giving each other the appropriate time to work through the person, because sometimes you need a walk to work through your person. Sometimes you just need to lay in the bed with the covers over your head and sleep until you get up. Whatever it takes, that's what you need to do.
So I want to just kind of bring up one point. Okay, so let's talk about fear a little bit, because sometimes people are afraid, excuse me, to give their partner or their spouse space or freedom, or like, I don't want to say independence, because you are not independent if you're married. I mean, you still are an individual, but I mean, you shouldn't be trying to function as a single, is what I'm trying to say. But sometimes, I've seen where spouses don't want to let their spouse go anywhere because they're afraid. There's insecurity, there's a lack of trust, and sometimes it is because of what that other spouse has done. But then sometimes it's not. Sometimes it is from a place of literal insecurity in that person, maybe because of something else that was done to them by someone else. And so, we have to really work through that and discern which one it is and be honest about it. If, first of all, if I'm doing something that is triggering, or that's giving unfaithful or cheating or whatever, if I'm giving that off, then I got to be willing to hear what he's saying and then look at what I'm doing and, kind of line it up. At the same time, if I am, just being who I am or he's being who he is, and I'm struggling with that because of somebody else that I was in a relationship with, well, when they did that, this is what this meant. That's not always the case. So I need to then evaluate, is this my thing or is this his thing?
I think that you
Yeah, come
certainly
on,
want to make sure that
lay it
um,
on me. And
you
Village
want
weigh in. Go ahead. Sorry.
you want to make sure that um, you're not doing something from a broken place. Um, but then you also want to make sure that, if you are a person who feels like something is being done from a broken place, that you appropriately analyze what's really happening, because you could either on either side of it, you could be wrong. And so I think is, evaluating what's going on, having the conversation to really clearly understand what's being done in the process and why a person may be taking something a certain way. And if there's growth or um, therapy that needs to happen, well, the only way you get to a place of knowing that therapy or help is needed is when you have a conversation and you go through the discovery mode. And so being able to have the conversations to discover what is needed and why certain things are um, showing up in a particular way. I believe. And Village, where y'all at? Y'all ain't left no
They quiet. They
messages.
nervous.
It is crickets out here. I mean, if y'all ready to go, we can get off.
No, they
You know what I'm
probably looking
saying?
like, they probably
You
are
know
like,
what I'm saying? Listen.
maybe not one week.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. Um, I think everything. I'm gonna say this. Anytime you debate with me, I'm always going to handle you in love. That's just how I am. And you can't be afraid to have the conversations and say what you need to say, because I really believe that when you love a person or when you're operating in love towards a person, that is what gives you the ability to hear them and hear them clearly, and allow them to express themselves in a manner that you can understand. So yeah. So if you're there, go on and say something. Come on, come on out of the darkness into the light.
Yeah, let's talk about that space. What do you all feel about that? Because that was number 6. Give each other space.
Do you think space is necessary? And if so, why? And if not, why? And let's have the dialogue over that, because I do believe that there are some people um that just haven't haven't necessarily um, haven't necessarily looked into
Mm-hmm.
it. Why do you view a particular thing the way you view it? And um, Jasmine said, yes, space is definitely needed. It grows love. I agree. I do. I do believe that what's that saying? Separation makes the
Absence
heart,
makes the heart.
yeah,
Absence makes the
makes the
heart grow
heart grow
fonder.
fonder. Yeah. What's up, Londy? Is that Londy?
That is
What's
Londy.
up,
Hey,
boy?
baby.
Good to see you on tonight, man. Um,
Hey, yes, sir. He said they're just enjoying the knowledge. First time tuning in.
come
It's good to
on.
have you with us, cousin. I love you.
All right, so if with you guys just joining on, we're talking about the things that it takes to make it last. Like if you want your relationship to last, what are some of the things that it's going to take to make it last? So the first point that we addressed on tonight was um, talk openly about everything, especially the stuff that hurts. So if there's something that's really gnawing at you, if there's something that's really frustrating you, making sure that you have that conversation and that you don't just go hide and tuck it into your person and don't say anything, because
Oh, it's gonna come
again,
out.
like we said, if you keep stuffing, at some point in time it's going to explode. So you might as well go on and have the conversation and make sure that you're giving your spouse and giving one another the opportunity to communicate as best you can so that you have no hiccups or no major breakdowns in further down the road.
Mm-hmm.
The next one that we address, number 5, is a healthy relationship means two healthy individuals. So making sure that both of you are doing what it takes to keep the relationship in a healthy place. So if that means working out, that makes you better as a person, it keeps you clear, it keeps you focused, then do that. If reading books works for you, then go somewhere, read a book, come back and be refreshed. Okay, whatever it takes to make that work, make it work. You got something you want to chime in with?
Because you just recapping them, right?
Yeah.
I don't have any more.
Number 6 is give each other space. That's the one that we were just working on. Give each other space. Make sure that, okay, sometimes you need to let this thing breathe. Like if you just had a very confrontational argument or intense fellowship. That's what we like to call it. If you had a moment of intense fellowship and you guys were going at it, all right, take a pause for the cause. That's what we say. Take a pause for the cause. Make sure that you are giving yourselves the opportunity to communicate the best way you can, because if you're trying to communicate while you're 45 hot, as one friend would say, if you're trying to communicate while you're just mad, or as my dad would say, the highest level of festivity, if you're at the highest level of being angry, that is probably not the best time to have a conversation.
No.
And space is probably the best thing that you can use at that point. So
moving to number 7.
All right, so number 7 is,
man,
you and your partner will grow and change in unexpected ways. Embrace it. Now, I know this can be hard because, again, I'm trying to make sure I say this appropriately.
Oh Lord.
Sometimes when people are finding themselves, right, they're discovering, because some people who have been sheltered or afraid to do life, or have been in very bad relationships, so they're not used to being able to do certain things or having certain freedoms and access in relationship. That could be a learning experience for them. So learning how to embrace when a person is having a growth moment, they're getting comfortable in the relationship. They're learning how to be appropriately in the relationship. They're learning how to find themselves in the relationship. Because again, there's times where you have to find yourself in relationship. What do you think about that?
I definitely agree. So growing and changing in different ways and unexpected ways. For example, you may, and this is just a mild example, you may have a person who just never, just was a homebody and just never really enjoyed going out and doing things. But then they hit a certain time in their life and they're like, you know what? And sometimes it happens right around 45. um, they might realize, hey, I'm almost halfway through, you know, halfway through life, and I've never tried this, or I've never taken a risk, or I've never. And so you have those people that hit those moments and then they want to try things. And so it may be new to you, but I'm saying if it's not harmful to the relationship or to that person. And what I mean by this, okay, for example, I'm not talking about doing self-harm or doing sinful things, but I'm saying if it is, okay, I never have cut my hair because for whatever reason, I just let my hair grow and grow because either I was told I was not allowed to cut it or whatever. And then I hit 45 and I'm like, oh, you know, I want to try a haircut, you know, embrace that. It's not the end of the world. It's not going to kill your marriage for your spouse to cut their hair. Right. And so that's what I'm saying. It may, and I'm using that example. No, because you're not about to say no.
Ooh-wee. I don't know, people.
Listen,
I don't know. You got.
It's not going to kill your marriage for your spouse to cut their hair.
You gotta give me time. You know what I'm saying?
And they may need time, but what I'm saying
gotta give people time. Like
if somebody has been in a relationship 30 years and they have never cut their hair,
okay, that's fine.
The person who is on the other side of that, I feel like you've had what you wanted for 30 years, or you've had what you like.
No.
Now let that person enjoy themselves and cut their hair.
What I'm saying is, okay.
Bondage.
No, it's not bondage.
Yes,
it is. No, it's not. It is. Okay. You don't just go tearing scabs off. You got a doctor that thing. Okay, if you're gonna do a major change, because it's not a major change to you, maybe a major change for your spouse. And if we're caring about the other person, we don't just make things just because we want to do stuff and forget about the other person's feelings. We have a conversation and we say, okay, this is okay. Maybe I don't, I ain't gonna cut all my hair off. Maybe I'm just gonna chop a side. Okay. That's compromise. You know what I'm saying?
You all see where this is going.
Absolutely.
And where this has been, right? Yeah, y'all laughing, Lonnie, Mike. Yeah, y'all laughing. Y'all know
listen.
Know what it is.
Listen, sometimes, well, all I'm saying is
I haven't cut, but I haven't cut yet.
Sometimes
you see she's still.
Sometimes you have to give your person the time to grow to that place, because it might be a major thing for them. I'm just saying. I'm not saying
you got 1 year, brother.
Nah, doc.
And I will be 50 next year. I didn't even do 45.
Listen, chop aside. That's all I'm saying. Just want to chop aside.
I've already done that.
Taper it up. Okay, praise hallelujah. That's all we need right now.
So here's the next thing with change in unexpected ways. Y'all getting ready to get a whole look into my life right now. So I have hit perimenopausal. Yeah, man, just get yourselves together, brace yourselves. It's gonna be okay. I literally can go. I'm already a naturally cold person because I'm anemic.
Listen.
It's just low iron. It is what it is. Until the Lord heals it, is what I got. And so I'm naturally cold, like cold nature. And so I can go from December, Lake Erie snow and ice. Lake Erie, the Lake Erie snow effect. From that to the Sahara Desert in 2.5 seconds.
Listen, Doc.
I'm talking about full sweat and drench. My moods are
and I'm over
weird.
Here like, bruh. I mean, what we doing here?
My moods are weird.
They are. Amen.
You said, well, I use that in there. Hey, it is. But my moods, I mean, I used to think I was a pretty even keeled kind of person. Like, you have to really to get me to blow up. Not so much anymore. I'm noticing Brutus and not the Buckeye.
It's almost like we have switched sides. It's like I'm cool, like for the most
And I'm
part.
like, nope, not dealing with that.
I'm good. I'm like, nah, just
And not just
give them grace.
Not just in the marriage, just
give them
with
in life.
just life.
In life, I'm like, just give them.
Like, Lord, do I need some medicine?
Give them a chance.
I need some meds.
Figure it out. You know what I'm saying? Right, Mike, Pastor Mike. It's a lot to. So this is the thing. I think sometimes because we're used to ourselves, right? We're used to our thoughts. You've probably been like, for example, let's just use the haircut thing for an example. Okay, yeah, we're gonna use that, player. So, all right, you might have been factoring this in your brain for like 5 years. When I get here,
I've been trying to warm you up.
This is what I'm gonna do. This is what I want to do. But like, if I ain't heard that, if a person haven't heard that, you gotta give them time to embrace that. It's not that they maybe don't want you to. It's just, okay, I gotta put my mind around having a bald head wife. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm not trying to be
saying, you know what I mean?
At first, I was literally like, okay, we're gonna go all the way down. I'm not there anymore. I definitely
want a TWA. Yeah, you got Teeny Winnie Afro. That's what we need up in the house.
For real.
I still need to be able to, touch something, man.
So here's the thing. Here's a nugget for you all. Nobody starts in a marriage and then 20 years later are the same. Essentially, man. Like the essence of who we are, the quintessence is what they call it. That doesn't change. Like your temperament usually stays the same unless something happens. If there's a trauma, you can forget about it. If something happens, yeah, perimenopause, correct. It's a mess. It's a mess. Listen, Eve, thank you so much for what you gave us from offering the fruit to Adam. Brothers, this is what we get. Sometimes I just be sitting over here like, do you hear yourself? Do you see yourself? Hey, can I get you a mirror? Can I let you know? Back to my nugget. Come on, let's go. You got to fall in love with that person as well. That's why marriage is an adventure, right? And I'm not saying fall in love with somebody. If they're abusing you 20 years later, I'm not saying fall in love with that. But I'm talking about it's the same person. They're just going through some minor changes, and then maybe they don't like the same things they used to, or they're more open to certain things. It's an adventure. Listen, go with the adventure. And listen, guys, I love my little bubbly butterfly. My little sometimes aggressive. You're an angry. Angry, aggressive butterfly. And then all of a sudden it's like, shh. Listen, it turns from a butterfly to a bumblebee. Listen, sting you. But no, I mean, I agree with that. Learning how to embrace every aspect of your spouse, like you should. Like, and I know sometimes it can be tough because we can have those challenges in our persons of accepting certain things that we don't deem as usual or normal. You see what I'm saying? I'm learning to embrace the abnormal as well as I embrace the normal, because you got to be willing to give your person space to grow into who they're growing into. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it takes some of us a little bit longer to really find our stride and being comfortable with ourselves. Jay Moss had this song. It's called Sunny Days, and one of the lines in the song is it says, why did it take you so long to put another song to make another song? He said it takes so long to cope with your fears. And basically what he was saying in that song was like, okay, it took me a long time because I've been embracing being okay with being scrutinized and loved at the same time, and not taking that personal, because when they put these albums out here, these are their pieces of work. This is who they are. This is how they're choosing to express themselves. And sometimes when you're expressing yourself and it doesn't seem that it's being accepted, that can be a very vulnerable place. So I get that. So we have to learn how to embrace
accepting another person's changes and being willing to be that change in front of you.
Amen.
All right.
Number 8, get good at fighting. If you want to make your relationship last, get good at fighting. And I want to kind of tweak that a little bit and say, get good at fighting fair.
Oh yeah, that's what I was gonna say. You gotta fight. You gotta learn how to fight fair. And in learning how to fight fair, learning what terminology works and what terminology doesn't work, learning what body language is acceptable and what body language isn't acceptable, learning what tones are acceptable. My God, and learning what tones are not acceptable. It is all for the greater good of the perfecting of this relationship.
Yeah. So here's the thing. And we do a workshop on fighting fair. We've heard that. I mean, a lot of people talk about that in relationship. I don't know who actually coined it, but there's different strategies for that, right? So here's the first thing: no trigger words. If you know that what you're getting ready to say, or one of the words you're about to use, is going to set your person off, maybe steer clear of using that particular word.
Yeah.
And it takes work and practice to try to come up with synonyms for what you would want to say. Because it's how you originally say it is not always the right way. Like I said earlier, it goes back to that email, right? When you're angry, they always say, don't send an email response or reply when you are angry or frustrated.
Don't do it.
What you want to do is open a Word document or take out a pen and paper and write out your frustrated response. Then have somebody look at that. Have somebody look it over and say, hey, how would you feel if you got this? How would you feel if you received this? Right. And then you go back and say it the way it should be said. And so it's the same thing in relationship. I sometimes have trouble with this because in my perimenopausal moments, whatever's in my brain just slides right out my mouth. And that's, I'm not used to that, y'all. I am used to pausing before I say what I'm just not, I've never been I've always had a filter, is basically what I'm saying. And it just seems like the closer I get to 50, the filter is diminishing.
Listen, and I've never had a filter. And I'm developing one. So you just have to you have to learn how to fight the battle in order to win the war.
Right.
And I think sometimes it's hard for us to do that because I want to chop your nails off right now.
I know you want to.
I just want to snip them.
No. I'm gonna cut them down because I can't. They were driving me nuts typing at work today. So anyway, steer clear of trigger words.
Yes.
And topics.
Yes.
Right. Yes. Okay. So what would be a trigger topic? Talking about somebody's family. You act just like your mama. You raggedy just like your daddy. That is not a way. And I don't care if you are frustrated. I don't even care if they might be raggedy like a mom or dad. It's not the best thing to say when you are in a moment of, of disagreement, because here's the thing about words. Once they're out, they're out. You can't put them, you can't suck them back in or suck them back down. No, they're out there and you're stuck with the fruit of them.
But I think that we have to learn how to hear, because something can sound like something and it triggers you and it's not what the original trigger is. So being able to do what the word teaches us to do, and that is to operate in self-control, hear what's being said to understand. Don't just hear what you want to hear and then get hot on your horses about trying to rebuke somebody and tell them what they need to do and how they need to do. No, because you could be wrong. And if you didn't hear the intent of their heart, then you didn't hear the truth. Because hearing the intent of their heart means you've appropriately taken in what they're trying to say, not what you perceive they said. Those could be two different things. And when you're trying to show up as your best, you want to make sure that you're giving yourself the opportunity to hear what they are